appropriately be grateful to Him for all of His blessings. Indeed, it is Him and Him alone worthy of all worship, and no one else is. And we ask that He send His and ours best of blessings upon His and our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, His family, His companions, and those who will follow Him until the day of eternity. Respected elders, dear brothers, sisters, and loving children, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I thank Allah, and I cannot enumerate the number of blessings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. None of us can count, and none of us can escape from not thanking Him for بِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So this afternoon we thank Him, we glorify Him, and we express our gratefulness to be able to gather today, glorify His name, ask each other of their welfare, pray for each other, and remember Allah. The ayah I recited is what I'm going to talk about today. Among many gifts that we are blessed with, this particular gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with is unique in its own way. And I believe as we begin to enjoy the extra time that we all are blessed with in the season of summer, and also as we begin to prepare to receive a guest whom we honor, a guest who visits us, and a guest who we are deeply grateful for, how and what that we should do or can do in this time. This gift Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed to everyone. Everyone receives their due share. He decides who gets how much of it. But the uniqueness of this gift is, I cannot share that blessing with you, and you cannot share that blessing with me. Parents cannot share that blessing with their children, and children cannot give part of this blessing to their parents. Each one of us get our own share. This gift is also cannot be recycled, cannot be saved or stored for another day to be used. It has to be used now. And if you don't use it, it will wither away. This gift is also non-replaceable, non-recyclable. You get only once. Kings and queens and common people like you and I, old and young, all of us are blessed with this gift. What we do with this gift is what counts. And this gift is a blessing, a name. But this gift is also an amana, a trust. Because this gift will be accounted for. And should we misuse this gift, should we abuse this gift, we also will be held accountable for. And thus, this gift is also a fire, a facade for us. And my dear brothers and sisters, this gift is time. This gift is time. Adah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us in the ayah I cited from Surah Al-Yunus, it is Allah who made the sun a shining radiance and the moon a light that determines the phases for it, so that you might know the number of years and learn how to calculate time. not create them without a purpose. And he explains his signs to those who think and to those who reflect. And in the succession of night and day, and in what Allah has created in the heavens and in earth, are truly the signs for those who are aware of them. So in this ayah, we learned that we have been taught how to calculate time by observing the succession of day and night. And hence, we now know it's year this, day this, and date that. And we have learned how to calculate time not merely by months and years and days, but we have broken down the time even into microseconds, milliseconds, and nanoseconds. A billion of a second. And it is not metaphoric or it is not abstract, it's real in today's time and age. So we have learned how to count time, though it is important to live a life fulfilling and wholesome. But the question I want to ask ourselves today is, have we made our time countable in this life and the life hereafter? Learning how to count is one, but making that asset countable is a dramatically different experience. And that asset I like us to draw our attention toward. Because this Ramadan will start and this Ramadan will, inshallah, end. This summer has come and this vacation will also end. And then perhaps another cycle of this time. We will be held accountable for the time we are blessed with. Should we use it, abuse it, or misuse it? It's an asset, it's an investment that we can make, or we can let it wither away. And the reason why this is important, especially for my young brothers and sisters, I encourage you to enjoy the summer as much as you like. But make sure that this summer would give you something that you did not have. To my brothers and sisters, parents, grandparents, siblings, think about what we do with our time. Because if we don't, then this Ramadan will pass away. And none of us have a guarantee that we will be alive next Ramadan. There were many among us who were alive last year, who are not with us this year. There are many who were very healthy last year, but not healthy this year. There are many who were able to freely celebrate and experience the month of blessings, but this year they are not. So none of us can guarantee ourselves that I am going to have X number of more Ramadans. I don't even know whether I'm going to have the blessing of this Ramadan in the next 72 hours. I don't know. I don't, neither do you. And hence, it is extremely critical and important for us to draw our attention to things that matter most to us than otherwise. If you don't, this is what happens. It is said that about 21 years of our lives are spent in watching television today. It is said that about 3 years we spend in reading and writing emails. And it is said that we spend about 2 years in reading or sending text messages. And another 4 years we spend on watching YouTube and Facebooking ourselves and tweeting what we are eating or where we are. Should you consolidate and compile all of this, you end up anywhere between 20 to 30 years of your life, 20 to 30 years of life. And if you take the average age in this country, 70 plus years for male, and just about that much for females, we are looking at about 1/3 of our life is spent in these activities. And we all know what we do with this tool that we are blessed with. We certainly have learned how to calculate time in millisecond and nanosecond, but I don't know if this time that we have learned how to count is going to be countable for us in the life hereafter. And that I like to draw our attention toward us today. In another ayah in Surah Al-Furqan, we are reminded, وَهُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ خِلْفَةً لِمَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يَذَّكَّرَ أَوْ أَرَادَ شُكُورًا. In the succession and variation of night, of day and night, there are signs for those who wish to be mindful and wish to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We take it for granted the time that we are blessed with. Indeed, the pursuit of worldly needs is wholesome, is required, is meaningful, is essential. But should that becomes the ends in our life and not the means, then perhaps we are not doing justice with the blessing that we are blessed with. And perhaps one may say that we may even be abusing time should we not make that countable for us in this life and in the hereafter. Time is also a trial and amana that we will be held accountable for. We are reminded that in Surah Al-Mu'minun, قَالَ كَمْ لَبِثْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ عَدَدَ سِنِينَ قَالُوا لَبِثْنَا يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ فَاسْأَلْ عَادِينَ قَالَ إِنْ لَبِثْتُمْ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا لَوْ أَنَّكُمْ كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question us on the day of judgment. How many years did you really spend on earth? And people will reply, or some people will reply, we stayed there for a day or two, and then they'll say, maybe we don't even know. Ask the others who are mindful of time, those who are counting their time. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds them that you stayed but a little in the qaleen. If you had only known. And if you think that we have created you without a purpose and in vain, and that you will not be brought back to us for accountability. So never must we think that we will not be held accountable. Never must we think that this trust that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with will not be accounted for. And know that this time is non-recyclable. Every living, breathing moment of our time that we are spending is gone. Neither you can recycle it, nor you can renew it, nor you can store it, that I will use it on a better day. Ask those who are now on bed and cannot pray. Ask those who met their Creator a day ago or 2 days ago. The time that you and I are blessed with, indeed, will be accounted for. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam reminds us, لا تسب الدهر فإن الله هو الدهر. He cautions us and warns us, do not abuse time. Don't abuse time. And then he says, إن الله هو الدهر. Though a metaphoric expression that Allah is time. Should we be abusing this blessing, then we will not be doing justice to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. not necessarily be a solution to honoring the blessing of time in Ramadan, but perhaps may trigger some ideas for you to make this blessing and this gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with most enjoyable, most spiritually beneficial, and will do justice to the time that we are blessed with. First, in whatever way that you can, plan for Ramadan. Not necessarily by beginning to shop the needs of Ramadan this weekend, but planning how you and I will be able to spend our time in the blessed month of Ramadan that it richly demands and deserves. Shura Council has developed a plethora of resources for individuals, for families, for communities, a daily plan, a weekly plan, a monthly plan, and I invite you to download the resources that are available for all of us. And as a family, sit together and decide that this is what I aspire to do this month, and we as a family like to do this or that, whatever that may be. Plan for that. Second, I would invite you and encourage you to pick and select any activity that takes you out of your routine and your comfort zone and try to do as best as possible. Some of us talk a lot. Some of us sleep a lot. Some of us eat a lot. Get out of that comfort zone just for 30 days and give it a try and see how it helps you in enjoying this blessed month. Thirdly, it is a sunnah, it indeed is a blessing to share the joys of Ramadan with your friends and with your family. We often drive, if not hundreds of miles, many miles, to attend the iftar gathering and invitation from our friends and family. I would encourage you this year to try at least to invite your neighbor, particularly those who may not necessarily believe the way you and I believe, of all faith groups. The neighbor on your right, the neighbor on your left. Help them join you in celebrating and enjoying the spirit of Ramadan. I don't want you to compromise and refuse the invitations that you probably receive from your family and friends. Honor them as well. But give the due to our neighbors who live next door. Fourthly, I encourage us to think about what our life is going to be like after Ramadan, before Ramadan begins. Many of us may think about our life in this time, which is no different than the life that we had after Ramadan of last year. And if we don't think and question and challenge ourselves, then our life after this Ramadan will still be the same as it is today. Prophet ﷺ reminds us that no 2 days of a believer must be alike, must be the same. The day to follow must be better than the day that just passed. And if that principle is true, then what about the 30 days of Ramadan? And lastly, I would encourage and urge us to how we use or not use or abuse or invest our time. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. In closing, my dear brothers and sisters, let me take a moment to extend my most heartfelt and sincere greetings to each and every one of you and your families, your children, your grandchildren, for what you have accomplished. What you have just accomplished is giving a new birth to Masjid Khutbah. I am deliberately, consciously, and intentionally avoiding the name Islamic Center or San Luis Valley and explicitly and purposefully using the name Masjid Khutbah today. I would encourage and invite you to join me in learning about the history of Masjid Khutbah in the Islamic history. Masjid Khutbah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to in Surah At-Tawbah. I like us to spend some time today because this is your community. This is you. If you don't know who you are, then it becomes difficult to learn about others. You are the people of Masjid Khutbah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defines the people of Masjid Khutbah in Surah At-Tawbah. I would invite you to read and study and reflect on today, tomorrow, even the month of Ramadan, from about 105, verse number 105 to about 112, 13. About 7, 8, 9 verses. But today I'm only going to refer only one ayah number 108, because it gives you, if you read the entire 7, 8 verses, it will give you the context. Why there are so many masajid? Why Masjid Khutbah was mentioned in the Quran? What's the reason for this? What's the importance and significance for this? Why are the examples given in this context at that time? How that time is relevant to us today? These are the questions I would like to ask ourselves. Said He, Azza wa Jal, لا تقم فيها أبدا لمسجد أسس على التقوى من أول يوم أحق أن تقوم فيه فيه رجال يحبون أن يتطهروا والله يحب المطهرين. Most surely, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, most surely, undoubtedly, the mosque of Quba is founded on piety, on taqwa, on God consciousness, on God mindfulness. And then says He, it is worthier of you, it is more worthy of you to stand in it for prayers, because in it are the men who love to purify themselves. In it are the men and women who love to purify themselves, and Allah indeed loves those who prefer or like to purify themselves, the mutahharin. The foundation of Masjid Quba was laid in taqwa. Taqwa is not bricks and cement and carpets and mahogany wood and chandeliers. that they are meant for. The masjid is nothing but a building, just a building of brick and cement and mortar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to Masjid Quba as the place where mutahhareen gather, when their hearts and minds and spirits are purified. And should that be the foundation of the masjid, should that be the foundation of an institution, then that foundation will only blossom and prosper and produce more mutahhareen. And that's exactly what had happened in Masjid Quba in Medina. There were other masajid, or at least there was one more masjid very close to Masjid Quba at the time of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to people and invite people, encourages them, and gives them the good news and the blessing that it is worthier for you to pray in this masjid, because in it are the people who love to be purified, and Allah loves those who purify themselves. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give the tawfiq to all of us to become worthy of receiving Allah's blessings. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq to become the mutahhareen of this community. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to unite our hearts and our ranks. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq to be able to question ourselves about how we use or not use our time. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our time countable in this dunya and in the akhirah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless those brothers and sisters in our community who are sick and who may not be able to celebrate Ramadan with us this year. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give Jannat al-Firdaus to those brothers and sisters in our community who met their Lord and may not be able to celebrate this Ramadan at all. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant the best of blessings to those who contributed in any which way, little or large, in building this institution. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give the best of blessings to those who laid the foundation of this institution decades ago, not knowing what it would be like. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give the tawfiq to our children and grandchildren who will inherit this place of tahara, inshaAllah ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the Ramadan easier for those whose Ramadan is dramatically different than ours, particularly in the place called Syria, particularly in the place called Egypt, particularly in the place called Palestine. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant the best of blessings to those who are jobless in our community. And we ask Allah to unite our hearts and our ranks and forgive our mistakes and our shortcomings. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب
elegantly spoke about Masjid al-Quba. I'm really thankful for that. This is known as Masjid al-Quba, and honestly, it does purify our hearts when you come in and when you are here. I would like to quickly request everyone to make du'as for the community, for members who are sick, who are not feeling well, especially for one of our newly made grandfather. His grandson was born premature. Please pray for his recovery for his quick, going home, and we'll all be excited for the grandparents to have like a night out. We have some important announcements. One of them is I would like to first of all, I would like to thank Tribune and the newspaper for taking the time to come and join us here. They are writing an article about it in our masjid, inshallah. And I think Rich and Steve and a young man with them, the photographer, I would like to thank them. We have our regular Friday night presentation for Ramadan, for Brother Junaid Asi, which starts at 7 p.m., followed by a potluck dinner. So please be here. The dinner is free. Then comes down to our Ramadan. We have very exciting programs during Ramadan, brothers. Like once again, what Brother Shakil said, the guest. That's so beautiful. So the guest is around the corner. He is coming, and inshallah, may Allah give all of us tawfiq to be here to enjoy Ramadan. And I will let Dr. Rizvi talk about that. Before that, I'll just quickly helping hands. They are doing a couple of for food and hygiene items they're sending to Syria. They have a container going out from Garden Grove Islamic Center Friday through Sunday from 11 to 8 p.m. Non-perishable items they are taking, like rice, flour, pasta, food, canned food. So that is in Garden Grove. Once again, Helping Hands is holding an Ashiana and a far evening for persons with disabilities who need prosthetic limbs. So please be there. The fee is like just $20, which is not much to go about. And yes, before I have Dr. Rizvi say something, I just got a text that was saying that please talk about our Quran competition in Ramadan. So I would encourage brothers and sisters to join that. We have some nice gifts being given for that also. With that, I'll give the mic over to Dr. Rizvi.
Thank you, Javed, and thank Brother Shakir. Assalamu brothers, sisters, children. That was a fair Friday Mubarak on behalf of Shura members and trustees of the community. I welcome you here again, and also Ramadan Mubarak. With that, we have a responsibility towards our community, in masjid and around the masjid. Customarily, we have iftar every day of Ramadan, and inshallah we'll have this year as well. And we're expecting more people to this new center, inshallah. So we are asking you to donate towards the iftar. So we have, the donation amount is weekdays is $1,500 for Monday to Thursday. Friday, Saturday is $2,500, and Sunday is $3,000 to feed the people. We're expecting from 200 to 400 people. So I hope that you all participate, but I'd like to have a raised hand that would be interested in donating money, even whatever you could. Really appreciate that. If you can raise your hand, we'll write down, and maybe we can give money to him or Brother Zaz. So we'd like to have people who are interested in donating money towards the iftar. Anybody? You have brother over there, brother. Please, okay. Brother, okay, brother Hamid, brother Dr. Halali, and Khalid. Anybody else? Khalid we need for Brother Muhammad Nasir. And on that side, we have, you know him, right? Anybody else? I think on that side, please. Ladies, please, also, we have a young man over there. Today. So please contact Brother Maktoum and anybody else. We have
has a lot of information in it, so please, they are free. Please pick up one. It gives you all about all the centers and all the other details. You're welcome.